It was another disappointing loss on Thursday as the Chicago White Sox fell to the Toronto Blue Jays 8-3 and were swept in the 3-game series. Sox have lost 6 of their last 8 games and now are chasing not only the Minnesota Twins, but also the Cleveland Guardians in the AL Central. The Sox offense was too little and too late as the Sox bullpen could not keep the Toronto hitters quiet. It's now on to Tampa for our White Sox.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. I really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox, especially after this series. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Well, shifting this circus act to Tampa change anything for the White Sox? Statistics and strategy were used in Thursday's game, but did it work? First off, though, we are running out of adjectives for how bad the White Sox have been playing. Sox lost to Toronto 8-3 Thursday afternoon. White Sox were swept by the Blue Jays. They have lost 6 of their last 8 and are now in third place in the Central. State of the Sox, they are 23-26, chasing the Twins by 5 games and Cleveland by a half a game. Twins lost on Thursday, so once again, we are justifying things by saying at least Minnesota lost. And we're also going to be saying, did Cleveland lose? Oh, good. Well, at least the Guardians lost. It was the 49th game for our White Sox. 49 different lineups. You guessed it. Let's examine that a little bit. Our friend James Fegan from The Athletic, he did some of that research for us. This is what he had to say on Twitter. Entering Thursday's game, the White Sox are one of 3 teams, Pirates and Tigers are the other 2, to use a different lineup every game. But only 3 teams, Dodgers, Red Sox, Astros, have used fewer than 40 different lineups this season. 8 games is the most by any team, that's the Red Sox, has used the same lineup. So those teams that were using fewer than 40 lineups, Dodgers, Red Sox, Astros, Dodgers 33-17, Astros 33-18, and Red Sox 3 games under 500, 24-27. Pirates and Tigers, we are grouped. The White Sox are grouped with Pirates and Tigers. Pirates 22-27, Tigers 20-30. Again, Sox are one of 3 teams to use a different lineup for every game. The White Sox lineup on Thursday against right-hand pitcher Alex Manoah involved a lot of different strategy and involved splits, looking at what Manoah has done against right-handed pitchers and left-handed pitchers, and Manoah allowing a 3.04 average against lefties. So Tony La Russa went with a lefty-oriented lineup, or at least with a bunch of switch hitters. This is what the lineup was like Thursday afternoon. You had Lurie Garcia leading off, then Robert in the 2-hole, Moncada, Abreu hitting 4th, Sheets, Grandal 6th, Andrew Vaughn hitting 7th, followed by McGuire and then Harrison. Andrew Vaughn coming into the game, his last 8 games, 11 for 33, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs, 4 strikeouts, a walk, hitting .333. Now, in those 8 games, there was only one game where Andrew Vaughn, maybe 2 games where he was hitting 8th. He was never hitting 7th. He was primarily in that great 8-game stretch hitting 2nd or maybe 3rd. The lineup was discussed quite a bit in the pregame show on NBC Sports Chicago. Ozzie questioning why Vaughn is hitting 7th like we all were, protected by Grandal and McGuire. Just goofy stuff. So La Russa went with a bunch of lefties for the game. Now, White Sox lefties this season, hits ranked 28th in all of baseball, batting average 30th in all of baseball, on base percentage 30th, slugging percentage 30th, and OPS 30th. So does it really matter if you stack a lineup with all lefties? How about you put a lineup that just, has a little bit of consistency? Keep Andrew Vaughn in that 2 hole, maybe even 3. I mean, he was hitting 2 and 3 during that great eight game stretch. You see what he's done in this series so far in Toronto. It's really interesting how much attention was put on these splits, the numbers, stats, the success rate of lefties against Manoah. But when it comes to other things, I just feel like Tony La Russa couldn't care less. So did somebody compile a binder full of information, or maybe it was just a pamphlet of what lefties have done against Manoah compared to righties? And did they talk to La Russa about this the previous night? I just don't see La Russa coming to this conclusion on his own. I have the feeling somebody handed this information to him. And, why now? The 49th game, are you starting to look at advanced stats and metrics and numbers and percentages? It just doesn't seem very La Russa-like to actually be using math and statistics when putting a lineup. I can't even explain what he does and how he does his lineups. You gotta think about, and it was a bad game. Thursday was a bad game. We're early June still, but Tony La Russa came out of retirement for this. One of his good friends, Jerry Reinsdorf, convinced him that this was a good idea. Now, the reasoning behind it, who knows, but Jerry Reinsdorf wanted Tony La Russa, and La Russa might have had some of his reasonings. I think there was a lot of shock amongst a lot of baseball people back in the fall of 2020 when La Russa decided to do this. It doesn't seem like it was a quick decision. He might have told Jerry no initially, if the reports are correct, but he decided to do this. And you have a feeling that La Russa might have thought it was going to be a lot easier than what it has been, that this team was going to be kind of turnkey ready, that Moncada, Grandal, Abreu, and so many others were going to be living up to the back of the bubblegum card, as he likes to say. But they have not been. It has been a challenge. There has been some injuries, but there have been decisions made, especially with the lineups. And I hate focusing just on the lineups because these players have to hit. La Russa's not taking a bat up, but he has to put these guys in a situation to succeed. He has to set these guys up for success. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's looking at, oh, wow, this is what lefties do against Manoah. Oh, okay, I guess, yeah, it'll make me look smart. I'll have this lineup. Did anybody tell him what our lefties are hitting and how bad they're performing this season? Because it really doesn't matter. Sometimes you got to go with your gut. And I maybe La Russa's been doing that, but whatever is happening, it is not working. We are all looking for some consistency. Ozzie and Chuck talked about it in the post-game show. Thursday was just a reminder that, sometimes statistics, percentages, metrics, that were used on Thursday. Look, I'm going to tell you why thinking smarter is sometimes not all that it cracks up to be. More on that in a moment. With spring in the air, it's a time of renewal and growth, personally and professionally. As your small business grows, LinkedIn Jobs is here to make it easier to find the people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond, the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring so your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. We have an important favor to ask you. We've put together a survey so we can learn more about listeners like you and make your favorite Locked On podcasts even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you'd like and don't like about Locked On podcasts. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get started. It won't take very long, and everyone that completes a survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards to take our audience survey. Go to lockedonpodcasts.com/survey. Appreciate your help. So that offense we were talking about, again, stacked with lineups, switch hitters. We are thinking smarter here. Well, you got to also factor who's on the hill. And Alex Manoah, he is a quality pitcher. He has struggled against left-handed hitters, but the quality of left-handed hitters that we have as a team, as a White Sox team, are going to pose no problem to Manoah right now. Guys like McGuire, Garcia, Grandal, he kind of probably looked at it like, oh, that's cute. They're throwing all these lefties at me. But look at the type of lefties that are trying to hit Manoah, and he had his good stuff. In the first inning, he did look out of sorts. He was not sharp, seemed a little rattled by seeing all these lefties, but I think he figured out quickly that they were nothing to be afraid of. Garcia and Robert did get on right off the bat. Moncada pops up, Abreu strikes out, Sheets walked, so it was bases loaded for Yasmani Grandal, who was hitting in that leadoff spot just seems like just a few days ago, and he strikes out looking. Manoah threw 29 pitches in the first, so that felt like maybe if you're going to celebrate moral victories, it was a little bit of a moral victory. Got him to throw a lot of pitches, but Manoah settled in quickly. Not a lot going on in this game. Third inning, we get back to the top of the order. Garcia strikes out. Robert flies out. Moncada flies out. A whole lot of nothing. White Sox had just 2 hits after the 6th inning. 8th inning is where things get pretty interesting. Something going on. Runners at second and first with 2 outs, and Luis Robert is up, and he doubles, scoring McGuire and Garcia. Okay, Robert, a right-handed hitter, finally knocks out Manoah. Not a lefty, but Robert is able to beat Manoah. It's 4-2 Toronto. Simber, the submariner, comes in, and Robert steals third. Moncada with a base hit knocks in Robert. It's 4-3 Toronto. Jose Abreu up, and he flies out to end the threat. Again, there were opportunities for our White Sox. Not a ton of opportunities, but it seemed like, it just that was the rally. That 8th inning was the rally. And again, kind of bizarre that Robert, a right-handed hitter, was finally the guy to get our lone extra base hit. Not all of these lefties that we thought were going to mash Manoah. Sox offensive line with 3 runs, 7 hits with runners in scoring position. The Sox were 2 for 5. And just that 1 extra base hit for the White Sox. It was a double by Luis Robert. Good to see Robert swinging the bat, especially against a tough pitcher like Manoah. Good pitching will beat good hitting, and that is the case with the Sox. I guess, for the White Sox, just pitching is going to beat hitting. Manoah's final line, 7 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. So you're wondering, all this work, all this strategy to stack this lineup with lefties and the way it was stacked, which was really bizarre. Where you're hitting Vaughn and the lack of protection you're giving him, especially looking at that stretch of success he has had where he has been hitting in the 2 or 3 spot. The carousel at the top of the order. You're saying, with the quality of lefties that we're throwing, well, why does it really matter? Why now start getting really into metrics and stats and playing the old percentages? Why make a big deal of that? Put your best guys, and there aren't a lot of them right now that are hitting. Put those guys, in the lineup and put your best against Toronto's best, which is Manoah. Like Mendick was hitting the ball this series. Pollock had a really good series. Just challenge somebody. Why maybe do the opposite of what Manoah in Toronto is probably thinking? They're probably sitting there Thursday morning saying, Sox are going to throw a bunch of lefties because, the scouting report's out and they look at the numbers. And the Toronto managers may be saying, well, look at the Sox lefties. They're not really hitting very well. They're bottom of the league in every stat. Maybe LaRussa will throw some righties in. They've been having a pretty good series. But no, we went with the lefties, and that was the result. Maybe against a different opposing pitcher, Cueto's outing would have been good enough. I'm going to remind you why the Blue Jays are so very dangerous and what's in store for the Sox this weekend. More on that in a moment. We've been asking, and Built delivered. Built granola bars are here. Built granola bars come in 3 unbelievable flavors: chocolate peanut butter, chocolate coconut, and white chocolate berry. I want to try all 3 flavors? You can get a mixed box at built.com right now. These are so different from the bars and the puffs. Built granola bars are loaded with granola. It's the perfect combination of crunch and chewiness. But just like bars and puffs, these babies are packed with protein and covered in 100% real chocolate. With 150 calories, 15 grams of protein, and only 4 grams of sugar, Built granola bars will change your world. Built has cracked the code to better granola. They're the perfect healthy snack to pack in your lunch, take on the road, or eat as a snack. And they're made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of healthy benefits. So if you've been waiting for a delicious and healthy granola bar to hit the market, this is your time. Head to Built.com right now to get the Built granola bars, 3 delicious flavors to try: chocolate peanut butter, chocolate coconut, and white chocolate berry. Don't miss out. Get yours today. Go to Built.com to get Built granola bars now. That's Built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Okay, Johnny Cueto is trying to see how he would respond after his start against the Chicago Cubs, which they jumped all over him on that first pitch. He was not able to get in the head of the count. Cueto, seemed to adjust. It seems like he had a different approach, had a great first inning, 1, 2, 3, 10 pitches. You like to see that. That hasn't been the case for White Sox pitching in this series. Then in the third inning, Tapia leads off with a double. Boy, he really hurt the Sox, one of many Toronto Blue Jays hitters. Ball gets through second base. It got past Moncada, some Little League action stuff going on in the third. Tapia takes third base. Zimmer gets hit by a pitch. Toronto had runners on first and third with nobody out. Sox able to turn a double play, but sacrifice a run, so it's 1-0 Toronto. It could have been worse. 34 pitches after 3 innings, which is good. After the amount of bullpen arms we had to use on Wednesday after Kopech's short outing, you were hoping Cueto was able to take us to the 6th or 7th at least. Let's go to the 5th. Toronto picks up another run. Tapia once again all over the base paths. Cueto at 60 pitches after 5. In the 6th, Cueto is still in. He gives up a leadoff double to Vlad Jr. Sox starters, they just have to be so perfect. And sometimes that, that just absolutely comes back to bite you. And the Toronto Blue Jays capitalize on mistakes. Hernandez, again, another Blue Jays hitter that has really hurt the White Sox. First pitch that Hernandez saw jacked a 2-run home run, and there you go, 4-0 Toronto. Cueto's final line: 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned runs, 0 walks, 5 strikeouts, a home run. His ERA is now at 2.92. Again, not a great outing from Cueto, but you felt like it might have been good enough. If it was under different circumstances. And, Alex Manoah didn't have his great stuff, and maybe the lineup looked a little bit different. Banks came in for the 7th, which was a clean inning. And then Lopez came in the 8th, and boy, oh boy, wheels came off. Toronto scored another run. Lopez was removed in favor of Bummer. Bummer gives up a 2-run single, and there you go, 8-3 Toronto. Again, Cueto tried to hold his own. Bullpen, which has been an issue the entire series, just couldn't help out. And, again, a little too late for White Sox offense. It was good to see, that there was some life for our Sox, but again, just I got to say, goofy lineups. I mean, La Russa in the post game, saying the right things. You got to get angry. Well, how is this team going to respond? What's this weekend going to look like in Tampa? Are we really going to be playing did Minnesota lose? Did Cleveland lose game? That's not how this year was supposed to go. But I think everything that you thought about the 2022 White Sox, you just have to completely remove. It's a whole new world. Sox are in Tampa on Friday. Velasquez is on the hill. He's appeared in 8 games, has 7 starts, a 5.30 ERA. His career ERA, 4.97. Last time Velasquez pitched was on May 24th in relief. He gave 3 clean innings, 5 strikeouts, and a walk. Tampa Bay is 29-21 right now, and you'd think, wow, they're killing it in the AL East. They are 3rd in the AL East at 29-21. Last year in 2021, Sox were 3-3 versus the Rays. The Sox did see Tampa earlier this year and took 2 of 3. That's when things were going really well for the Sox, and that was that stretch where they were 6-2. I believe it was the weekend of the Liam Hendricks bobblehead game. That's when things were really right and really nice. I'm hoping that the Sox can get back to some of those days soon. I really hope. Folks, really appreciate you making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast absolutely everywhere you find your podcast. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. You know what to do. Make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, just call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up on the next episode, I'll recap the weekend that was in Tampa. And boy, I hope it involves a sweep for our White Sox. Thanks again for making time for Locked On White Sox. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.